See, the point is, in India, we look at people because of our caste, because of our religion, because of our language, because of our geography, and all these places. No, these are a group of people who are extinct. We don't know about them. And they got extincted from our history books, from our records, more than 100 years ago. And that's a very heinous crime that has happened. So you need to discover that. They are a shadow world. We see them, yet we don't see them. And they are Indians, and they are part of us. We don't know about them, but they do exist. If you go to their villages, you will see them, but you will not be able to feel them. They will not allow you. They will not allow you. I mean, it took me to crack this for nearly 5 years, to just get the trust of these people to allow me to into their life, into their community. Which Varshaji also, I mean, it took her a lot of time. So people who get interested there, it takes a lot of time. I will just say one incident, how I got interested. In actually 1997, I mean, this is the year I will be in Mumbai for 20 years. When I came in 1997, my family was away in Calcutta. I was here alone. And I had a very, most of the journalists are either Malus or Bongs. I had a very prominent journalist friend. So he said, "Kya kar raha hai raat ko?" I said, "Kuch nahi yaar." Bola, "Chal mere saath." So he took me somewhere. And that was a dance bar. And I got fascinated. I was a middle-class Bengali boy from Calcutta. A lot of preconceived notions, a lot of prejudice. And he took me there. And when I stepped into this world, I was there for about 4 hours. I was fascinated. Frankly speaking, I've never seen so many beautiful girls dancing at one place. That was my first attraction. That was 1997. I left it at that. Mr. Padamsee also said that he used to visit, so you will understand that same kind of a passion and other things. In 2001, I saw a film, Chandni Bar. Everybody raves about it. It has not even scratched 10% of the world. I mean, Varshaji will possibly say that. It has not been able to scratch the 10% of this world. That got me thinking. Then in 2004 and 5, I got more entrenched because of certain things. I was in events, in public relations, in advertising. So that's how I got hooked onto it. And the more I started talking, please, if you speak to these girls on a one-on-one, they are human beings. And possibly they are far more sharper and far more rationalists than we are. Give them that credit. I mean, you get to know them, you will know them.
The next thing I want, since you got pulled into this world which, as you said, we all see but never notice, has that progressed beyond the writing of this book?
No, they're friends. Of course they're friends. I'm not going to say.
No,
but
in the sense, is there any kind of movement that you envisaged or wanted to help Varshaji's cause or anything like that has happened? Or you created any kind of community that is interested in it? Or
no.
The book is the face of everything that you wanted to do?
No, what I felt was one, I will give you another example. I mean, I'm very thankful to, there's a gentleman sitting here, okay, Mr. Nirmal Bhattacharya. He always keeps in the background. He's part of the Niyogi books, and I'm thankful to Trisha's father, Mr. Niyogi. Okay. Before I gave them the manuscript, I gave it to an international publishing house. I'm not going to name them. I have the email. I don't pronounce that word right, so I've asked Deepan to tell me that. That publication wrote me back as email saying it's a very contentious issue. We will not touch them. Then I went to a second publisher. That lady said the book is not lyrical enough. And I went, sent the publication, the manuscript to Mr. Bhattacharya. Within a month, he came back saying, we are interested in it. See, what has happened is, we don't want to know about this world. Because we feel very uncomfortable about it. As Indians, we don't discuss about sexuality. We don't feel very comfortable. We don't discuss with our sons and daughters about the boyfriends and girls. In some places it happens, sometimes it's not. So we want to shroud it away. This is part of our life. If we go to UK, don't we visit Soho? Right? We go to Wembley, we go to the strip joints. Is it in any way changing the British culture or American culture? I mean, it's part of our culture. You don't have to read the book. If you're really interested, for hundreds of years this is part of us, but we want to denounce it. Like Varsha was saying, morality. Morality is something that I can still be pure. I mean, but that doesn't mean that I have to put somebody down to be pure. So I thought, one, it was an interesting topic. It intrigued me. I mean, if I felt as average middle class Indian, it's intriguing me. I wanted to say this story. You know, I was in a hyper mode to say this story. So I wanted to say it. And I thought everybody should read it.
Fantastic. No, it certainly is. Whoever is going to buy this will be made to think twice. My last question, Devasis. 10 years have passed. You have been chatting with and talking and having conversation with Varsha. Is there any change in these 10 years in the condition of these people? Do you see any hope?
No, that is in few layers. One, I don't think the people, those who are in the authority, they have really understood the problem.
You mean the politicians and the policemen?
Yeah, the administration per se. See, what we are saying is, okay, in business term, we are all business people. It's a supply chain. This is at the end of the supply chain. I'm sure if Varshaji has been able to find out, if I have been able to find out, authorities have far more superior intelligence process. They know what is the beginning of the supply chain. Now, if we don't do anything at the beginning of the supply chain, the end of the supply chain will not change. And what the authorities are trying to do is they are trying to do a temporary solution. I think some people have realized, but not all. I mean that should change. I will just give one example. The Mumbai dance bars were officially, whether they are still on or off, I will not get into that discussion. But Mumbai dance bars were officially closed in 2005. Prior to that, there was no dance bar in India. In 2006, in Calcutta, dance bars have started opening. Today, in Calcutta, there are 75 dance bars. From the beginning of the Calcutta airport to the end of Eastern Metropolitan Bypass, there are 75 dance bars. These girls are going there and dancing. You know, there is specific traffic that comes from all over India, all over the world to visit dance bars. Unfortunately, the traffic has shifted from Mumbai to Calcutta. I am unable to find that clip, but I still remember I had seen a clip of a leading publications. They had said that Mumbai has lost more than 500 crores of revenue because of the shifting of this tourist traffic. Whether it is good or bad, that's an entirely different issue. What has happened is, the dance bar is a end of a supply chain. The people, the administration, everybody need to understand that the beginning of the supply, it's a social problem. What I'm trying to do, Kiran, is we are trying to find a political solution. You can't find a political solution for a social problem. You need to find out the social, remedy, and that's what we are not finding.
Fantastic. Anybody in the audience has any specific questions?
So what I will do is, I just want to show, I have a friend, brilliant editor. When 2 days ago I was discussing with him, we have just prepared a promo. This has nothing to do with the book, but then that will give you a flavor how possibly society looks at it.
Yeah, sure. We should play that. Yeah.
Yes, so thank you, Kiranji, for making that very interesting, that active, interactive segment with the author. Ladies and gentlemen, well, the author, I have not really introduced him, so can I take a minute of yours here? A communicator, corporate reputation advisor and brand strategist, Devasis did his graduation in commerce from Calcutta University. Thereafter, he did his postgraduate diploma in PR. Initially, he chose his career in advertising. Later on, he took up public relations as his calling. He began writing freelance non-fiction features just after his graduation since early 1980s during his spare time, and continued writing them in various Indian newspapers and magazines for nearly 2 decades. Thereafter, because of varied domestic and overseas senior executive roles and assignments, his articles became few and far in between. Without Prejudice is his maiden novel, so we will have to put our hands together for Devasis, and kudos to Yogi Books for taking up this subject. Well, we are almost towards the end of this program. But before we end it with an AV, I would just like to mention that Madam Anuja Agarwal, Associate Professor, Department of Sociology, Delhi School of Economics, was to attend this function. She could not make it here, but I'm sure she is attending the Delhi launch. She has given the backwards for the book. I would just read that line. Marrying fiction with facts, this maiden novel's spotlight is on the very long and deep roots of Mumbai's dance bar world. Driven by a desire to get to the bottom of this elusive and enigmatic microcosm, the novel is a provocative combination of ambition, imagination, and intrigue. Well, Devasis just mentioned that this AV that we are about to see is made by O.C. Bhattacharya. He is present with us. Mr. Bhattacharya, yes, there he is in the maroon kurta.
Stand up, stand up. This guy conserves.
Yes, I'll mention that. Well, he is the erstwhile chief editor of ZTV, Star TV. He is the person who launched MTV, and among the handful, in fact, just 2 in India who restore old films from world over under the banner Quality Matters. So that's O.C. Bhattacharya. Time for now for some.
This is just a teaser, because if you see how society reflects dance parts, and then maybe if you have time we can have one.
Yes, we can do that later, but first a few glimpses, visual glimpses of the book. Let's play the short film. We can sit there, I think. Can we dim the lights, please?
Mumbai never sleeps, no matter